England were fantastic. Saka is the absolute man. What a substitution appearance from Eze. Amazing debut, I felt, from O'Reilly. I thought he looked so comfortable at this level. Anderson. I'd say a year ago, the average England football fan didn't know too much about Elliot Anderson. And now he's a player that I want to see in an England shirt more and more and more with what he does. And I'm going to forget people's names here. Jude Bellingham looked very good when he came on. I thought Rashford had a decent performance. But as I was stating on the Football Terrace, we've got a chance of winning the World Cup. England can win the World Cup with this group. But more importantly, because of this manager. And once all the flag shaggers went away and all of the, but I'm English and we shouldn't have a German managing us. Really? Yeah, I'm going to go out for a drive to calm down. What car do you drive? Oh, a German one. You know, I'm a patriotic person when it comes to sport. I don't care who coaches us as long as they're trying to make my nation the best. And we've seen it with the women's team. And I think we're starting to see it now with the men's team. And the best thing, forget for a moment Thomas Tuchel's tactical nous. Forget for a moment Thomas Tuchel's pedigree as a manager. Put all that aside. It's the environment he's creating and the quality he is adding to the culture. Now, the one thing I'll always thank Gareth Southgate for is the culture that he helped build, the cliques that he got rid of, and there was actually a club feel about England for a long time. I just felt that his tactical nous and his ability as a top coach, I think as a manager he's very good at managing people, but his ability as a top coach was just not quite where you would need it. Tuchel is better. But I love what Tuchel has brought in. Sir Alf Ramsey, the greatest England manager ever, the guy that won the World Cup in 1966, said you never pick your best players, you pick your best team. And I love what I was reading today. I didn't listen to it, but I read about it. The Bellingham, Foden and Kane can't all play in the same team. There's a reason, and I was very happy for Foden tonight picking up his assist. He came on, had a great cameo. But there's a reason that actually when Foden's kind of been forced into the team, maybe there was a reason that last summer Kane was looking like he was over the hill. Bellingham obviously came up with some moments, but wasn't playing like he does at Real Madrid. Tuchel said they can't all be in the same team. And that will all be to do with the spaces they occupy, how they like to operate. Sometimes players don't complement each other. Doesn't mean individually they're not brilliant. It's about relationships and it's about creating a team as opposed to putting the best individuals out there. England's greatest mistake of my lifetime was consistently forcing Gerrard and Lampard to play in central midfield together. Both top-class to world-class players in their own right, and both could have done an amazing job for England. But the England midfield should have actually been built around Michael Carrick. And he should have been, if we're going with the two, he should have been partnered with one of them. And you'll always get Liverpool and Chelsea fans that will get angry about hearing that, but it's not about slagging those players off. It's about looking at it and saying they just didn't play well together. They didn't work with one another. They didn't complement each other in that way, although they were both fantastic. And I feel like we're getting to that stage now with England. I really, really do. Anderson's come in, looked excellent, is maintaining his position. As an example, Rashford was out in the cold, couldn't get a sniff. He's had the opportunity. He's been delivering. He stays within the team. The only thing that Tuchel done so far I disagree with is the Miles Lewis-Skelly situation. I think he's been very good in the England team. That being said, it won't make me discredit anything O'Reilly did tonight. I thought O'Reilly was strong. I thought O'Reilly looked comfortable at this level. A very, very solid debut from that young man. And he and his family should be immensely proud of his rise in the last year. Now, of course, in the England squad. But I love what Tuchel's doing. I love the atmosphere. I love the meritocracy. I love the idea of, and what I read about today, which I also thought was fantastic, is depending on the position, it will say right wing, Saka and Madueke, if they're in the squad. I'm using that as a hypothetical. And it'll go, you two are fighting for that position. Centre-backs, you three, you four, you're fighting for those positions. You're all going to get chances, some from the bench. Sometimes it'll be you'll start the qualifier, you'll start the friendly, but you're fighting for that position. There isn't much jeopardy in the games that we play because England are so superior to our opponents. So you have to create that jeopardy within the squad, and it's been done impeccably well. In terms of individuals, I'm going to save the best to last today in Bukayo Saka, but I wanted to shout out, I've mentioned O'Reilly already, brilliant debut. I loved what I saw from Anderson today in the midfield. Declan Rice was just Declan Rice, but I thought it was okay today. I wouldn't say Declan Rice was world class or the greatest I've ever seen, but overall I thought he was very good. Rashford, I think, was dangerous. He had a lot of nearly moments today, Marcus Rashford. A couple of shots he should have done better with. A few bits of skill that almost completely opened Serbia up. But I just loved his tenacity and the way he kept on pushing on. But of all those players that started, it was Bukayo Saka stood out for me. I'm going to tell you why in a few moments. But I want to speak about a few cameo appearances. Jude Bellingham, there's been a lot of, is Bellingham going to be on the bench? Of course, he started on the bench today for Morgan Rogers, who I thought played very, very well. But what I loved about Bellingham today is that there is this kind of view that he's arrogant, he's up himself, that his ego's getting in the way. But what I saw was a young man who came on and you could see he wants to get back into that England team. And yes, he made some mistakes on the ball, but I can always forgive a player that. But he ran hard, he created, he was involved in everything for the 20 or so minutes that he was on the pitch. And I love that from him. Foden gets a lot of stick for his England performances. But again, I thought he came on and did excellent. And in the build-up to the goal, the other player, Eze, that I want to mention, I thought Eze came on. And there's been a bit of stick around Eze. And I saw Jamie O'Hara and others call him out, actually. That maybe he won't even get into the England squad. Foden won't even get into the England squad. And maybe they saw that today. Maybe that's motivated them. But what I loved today was seeing Foden come on and play brilliantly. But Eze just looked fantastic. Some of his dribbling. He had a shot that, he got onto a shot that got put through, a good save, and it hit the crossbar. He had all these little efforts, but the goal in itself, England win the ball back brilliantly, out to Bukayo Saka, who we'll move on to in a minute. An intelligent ball inside to Foden. And then you're thinking, right, what's Foden going to do here? England are winning. Is he going to go for goal? Is he going to go for the glory himself just to try and sort of get that? I think it's 18 or so games now without a goal for England, but he makes the right choice. He drags a defender in, then releases the ball out to the left-hand side. And that goal from Eze is what I would call like a quintessential Eze goal. Inside of the boot, passes it, obviously with a little bit of elevation, passes it into the far top corner. Absolutely. And the second wonder strike of the night, the second wonder goal of the night. It just ended it as a contest, icing on top of the cake. But I think for Eze, who's had a lot of stick at club level in recent weeks, that will do a lot to relieve pressure from him. But it also sends that message. I mentioned Bellingham's performance already, then what Foden did in terms of the game and getting the assist. But Eze, again, sending a message. Listen, I want to start. I don't care if it's central. I don't care if it's on the left, whatever position Thomas Tuchel, but I want to be in this England team. But as much as there is this kind of atmosphere of internal jeopardy and competition, you can still see that the team is a team. And that is Tuchel growing from the culture that Gareth Southgate set in place. And that's why I do really believe this England team could win the World Cup. There's other brilliant nations. I'm not writing anybody off. I'm not doing the typical English thing, thinking my nation's better than everybody else. That's not me as a person. But there is a genuine possibility with this manager and this group of players that it could be done. Because I see us doing the right... Overall, we're doing the right thing for the first time in my life where I feel like we're picking the best team, not the best players, and we're picking on meritocracy. On Bukayo Saka, this man gets far too much stick for a player of his quality, for a player who has been so consistent as a performer, not just somebody that output. That was his 23rd goal or assist in an England top tonight in the 47 games of which he's played. So he's scoring and assisting in around 50% of his England matches. But it was another game where he was just dangerous. It was another game where he was just on it. And did everything come off? No. He would have got an assist actually for a cross to Eze. I think Eze would have buried it. Foden actually jumped up and put his head onto the ball and took it off of Eze's foot. But it was another night where you just see the importance and the quality of Bukayo Saka. When Wayne Rooney played for England, every 3 to 4 years, maybe it was even less than that, maybe I'm being a little bit kind, a new player would emerge. And this new player was going to replace Rooney in the England setup. You've seen it a little bit with Harry Kane. I remember, what year would it have been? It probably was around 2019, maybe a little bit earlier than that, 2018, 2019, when Tammy Abraham burst onto the scene. People spoke about Tammy Abraham's got to replace him. Ollie Watkins has got to replace him. So many players have got to, even when he was in his, you could argue he's in the best form of his life, actually, Harry Kane, if you look at the goal tally this year. But when he was younger, every time a striker had a hot streak, I got to replace Harry Kane. I remember it very vividly with Rooney because he was a United player. And I see the same thing with Saka. There's always someone new that's got, he's got to oust him, he's got to oust him, he's got to oust him. But for me, you look at another new manager has come in and Saka's still the number one choice. That should send a message to everybody, at least on an objective level. But I thought his performance was very good tonight. The goal, listen, sometimes people talk about Saka as though he's not technical. He's a joke. Saka's a joke. That finish with the inside of your foot, to put that kind of control on the ball into the far corner with the accuracy, you just can't do that unless you've got good technique. The only thing about Saka that I do understand is a lot of people don't find him aesthetically pleasing. Maybe because you're never going to probably take a silhouette of a Bukayo Saka moment and create a badge out of it. You're not going to, like with Michael Jordan's slam dunk. And I get some people, that aesthetic element is so important to them. For me, if you can have someone that's aesthetically brilliant, as consistent as Saka, and who gets output like Saka and beyond that, and I still think there's more to come from Saka in that area, then yeah, utopia. But outside of that, give me the efficiency and give me the consistency of performances over someone who looks better doing nothing every day of the week. And I wanted to make that distinction. If you can have all three, brilliant. If not, give me a Bukayo Saka every single day of the week. Because I thought he was excellent tonight and he deserves these flowers along with the rest of the team. Eze, what a cameo. Foden, absolutely brilliant. I loved what I saw from O'Reilly tonight as well. And England overall have been good. As we've stated already, qualified easily, no defeats, no goals conceded. I think we might have conceded a shot on target tonight for the first time. But well done to England. Well done to Thomas Tuchel. Absolutely tip-top stuff. Please make sure, by the way, you're liking, subscribing and sharing. What a performance.